Hey, Joyful Journeyer. Anita Adams here, your host. And today we're diving into the transformative power of taking a leap of faith and fully trusting the path you've chosen to walk. The kind of trust I'm talking about is trusting that God has your back. As the 13th century Persian poet and Sufi mystic Rumi once said, live life as if everything is rigged in your favor. Can you imagine how much more joyful and stress free our lives would be if we lived every day with this kind of trust? Yet, for so many of us, this kind of deep trust doesn't come easily. We hesitate, we question, and we search for signs that prove we're on the right track. But what if trust isn't about certainty at all? What if it's about embracing the unknown with an open heart? Trust at its core is the firm belief in the reliability of someone or something. It's the willingness to accept the truth of the situation without needing proof or evidence. This is where many people stumble when it comes to following the highest calling of their soul. They want to know, without a shadow of a doubt, that the path they're on is reliable and will lead them exactly where they want to go. They long to see the destination and the outcome in all its perfection, craving clear evidence that shouts, yes, this is the way forward. I've been guilty of needing that assurance, and I'm sure you have too. It's natural to keep our eyes on the end goal, and that's not a bad thing at all. The challenge comes when we also seek proof that the path we're on will actually take us there. We want reassurances that this path is, in fact, the best one for us. And maybe, just maybe, we wonder if there's a quicker or easier way to get to the destination. While it's important to have a clear vision of where you want to go, part of trusting your path is learning to detach from the outcome. This means accepting that your journey might take you to a completely different destination than you had imagined. And more than that, you must let go of how you get there. I get it, it's scary. It may even seem impossible. I'm here to tell you it's entirely within your ability. With a little practice, you can master this. The first thing to remember is this: God wants you to thrive. And because of that, the universe is conspiring for you, not against you. And neither God nor the universe can be micromanaged. As a self-proclaimed control freak, I know firsthand how hard it can be to let go and be in flow. I have to remind myself of these truths constantly. In fact, it's probably why I felt called to record this episode. Every time I've surrendered to God, trusted that I would be guided along the right path, and released attachment to a specific outcome, the results have been better than I could ever imagine. An example of this is when my husband and I had canceled our plans to move the family to India for a year when the pandemic hit. Although there was some initial disappointment about having to cancel this trip, something we had been planning and saving for nearly 5 years, we were able to let go of our disappointment and move on. It was completely out of our control, so what was the point in wallowing in it? And besides, we had more pressing concerns, like where were we going to live as the lease on our home was about to expire and couldn't be renewed. To say this caused a bit of stress would be an understatement. It was early in the pandemic. There was a lot of fear around the unknown. My business got hit hard financially, and we had to find a new place to live in a market where prices kept going up. If you've been listening to any of my other episodes, you already know what I do when I feel stressed or anxious. I head out for a walk in nature. Time invested in nature calms the monkey mind and gives your soul voice space to present solutions. It was during one of my early morning walks in the forest just behind my house that a solution was presented about our living situation, albeit not a very conventional solution, particularly given we were in a global pandemic. My soul voice told me to get rid of our possessions and turn nomadic. Interesting idea. At first, I wasn't sure if that was really a soul direction or just a strange fancy of my mind. But something in me felt right about it. That's the key. The soul voice feels grounded, calm, and clear, while the mind's voice is often filled with doubt and fear. There's two things I want you to take from that statement. First, don't immediately dismiss or judge those things that come to you from within. They might be coming from your soul's wisdom. And two, give yourself space and time to feel your way through the resonance of those whispers. Feel into it. Does it feel light? Does it feel aligned? Does it bring peace or anxiety? I return to the forest every day and ask myself, is this what I really want? To get rid of my possessions and turn nomadic. Soon I realized, yes, this is what I want to do. It just feels right. When I pitched the idea to my husband a few weeks later, he didn't even think about it. He just said, yeah, let's do it. Sometimes I marvel at that man. He is definitely someone who is in flow, in the moment, unattached to outcomes, and not easily rattled. Maybe that's one of the reasons God placed him in my life, to teach me how to chill out and just go with the flow. This decision to go nomadic was in the spring of 2020, and by July 1st, both of our children had moved out. Their decision that came before ours to turn nomadic. And our possessions were reduced to our outdoor toys and some memory boxes that would fit into the smallest storage crate we could get. We were officially homeless. We had a loose plan. We knew we wanted to try living on Bowen Island for a time, and we figured that by September, a lot of places would come available as the summer residents would move off island. So we'd take the summer to just enjoy, go camping, kayaking, visit some friends, couch surf as needed. On one of my morning walks, I started to imagine the home I'd like to live in, and I expressed my desires out loud to the universe and to the squirrels that were watching me make my way along the path. God, I began, I'd like to find a 3-bedroom house on Bowen. I want to pay month to month, so no long-term commitment, please. It's got to be at least $1,000 less than what we've been paying in the city. I need sun, and lots of it, so big sun-drenched decks would be awesome. It would be really sweet if we can have an ocean view and some arbutus trees. I just love arbutus trees. Thank you. I was energized by this conversation. It was fun, light-hearted, playful even. And I felt like the squirrels were cheering me on, saying, yeah, you've got this. That very afternoon, we got a call from my mother-in-law who lives on Bowen. She'd been golfing that morning with one of her island buddies, and it turns out her friend was looking for someone to rent her home come September. We didn't know anything about this place other than it was the right price and big enough to accommodate us and our kids should they need or want to move back in with us. That night, we were invited over for a glass of wine to check it out. As we were driving to this woman's summer home, my mother-in-law told us not to agree to anything at our meeting or sign any documents. Just take your time to consider the offer, she advised. As we drove down the winding dirt road through a grove of trees, a charming white house appeared on the high banks overlooking the ocean. My husband and I, we turned to each other, high-fived, and said in unison, "We're in!" We hadn't even stepped out of the car yet, let alone met the owner or seen the inside of the house, but it felt right, and that view had us mesmerized. It turns out the home was better than the one I requested from God that morning. 4 bedrooms, oceanfront, sun-drenched decks, arbutus trees, no long-term commitment required, and half the cost of our city rent. I often reflect on how this manifested so beautifully. Having clarity of what you desire is key, to be sure. So is having an open and grateful heart. Equally important is your ability to take that leap of faith and trust that it will work out. One of my mentors often says, if you believe in miracles, you have to take the leap of faith first. My husband and I took the leap and trust things would work out. And they have worked out so much better than we could have ever imagined. It has been over 4 years since we made the decision to let go of our possessions and chose a less tethered lifestyle. And it has been nothing short of remarkable. We lived in that beautiful seaside cottage off and on for 2 years. We explored the Pacific West Coast by kayak for a summer. We moved to Europe for 6 months. And when our son heard about that plan, he decided to move home with mom and dad and join us on our adventures. What a gift that was. Our daughter also joined us for the last 2 months in Europe. Then my husband and I came back to Canada, and we moved to the top of a mountain to live in a homestead on 140 acres. That was only supposed to be for 3 months, but it's been over a year now, and we'll stay until we feel the pull to move on. I recognize that we are in a privileged position, which makes it easier to trust. We have the resources, a large support system, and each other. We weren't doing this on our own. However, there are some clear takeaways in this story that can help anyone, regardless of their particular situation, develop the trust they need to follow their soul path. There are 7 takeaways, to be exact, and I'll summarize them for you now. For one, invest time in you to listen to your soul voice, that inner wisdom that wants to guide you. Check in with it frequently and simply ask, is this mine to do? 2, listen to what bubbles up and listen without judgment. If you keep hearing the same answer or get the same feeling that says, yes, this is yours to do, that confirmation will boost your confidence and help you trust the path. So check in frequently. Number 3, visualize the outcome. Although you can't be attached to outcomes, you still need to visualize them. Get super clear on what you want to create for yourself. See it in your mind's eye with as much detail as possible. Number 4, have a conversation with God about what you want. Ask for it and give thanks for it in the same breath, as if you already received your heart's desires. 5, commit to taking action. One small baby step every day that will bring you closer to your goal. After a year, that's 365 steps closer, and you'll look back and you'll say, wow, look how far I've come. 6, let go of the how. When you are clear about the what and the why, the how will reveal itself. In other words, leave the how to God. Number 7, if you feel stress or doubt about your path, get out into nature for a solo walk to quiet the monkey brain and tune in again to your soul voice. Now we've come full circle, right? In fact, I recommend getting out into nature every day by yourself, even if just to a local park or a stroll through your neighborhood. This will bring you peace of mind and give you a greater sense of clarity and conviction that you are on the right path. There's more to this story. As I look back on everything that unfolded after our canceled trip to India, I can see how this unexpected shift in our life set in motion not just the adventure of going nomadic, but it also triggered another unexpected and at first frustrating gift that helped reshape our financial future. When that trip to India was canceled, my husband had to take a lump sum payout from his company. The trip was possible only because of his company's self-funded leave program, which withheld 20% of his paycheck for 4 years. In the 5th year, he would receive those retained earnings as a regular bi-monthly paycheck, as if he were still working. But when the world shut down, the program couldn't be paused. His only option was to cancel the leave and collect the savings, pushing us into a much higher tax bracket, where more than half of those savings would have gone straight to taxes. It felt like a major financial blow, unless we put those savings into my RRSP, where there was plenty of room. So that's what we did, simply as a way to avoid losing a huge chunk of money. At the time, it didn't feel like it win, just the best of an unfortunate situation. But 3 years later, we realized just how much of a blessing it truly was. That money had grown substantially. Because we had to invest it, we took the time to educate ourselves, made some smart financial decisions, and in the end, more than tripled our initial savings. What started as an unwelcome surprise ended up helping to put our financial house in order in a way we never could have predicted. I have come to truly appreciate Rumi's wisdom as I reflect on this personal story and strive to live as if everything is rigged in my favor. The final note I want to leave you with is that there is a good chance that things won't work out exactly the way you plan. But if you believe in miracles, take that leap of faith and keep showing up and taking actions. Things will likely work out even better than you ever imagined. So trust the path and let your soul guide the way. And if you need some more support in walking your unique path, reach out and let's have a conversation about working together. Thanks for joining me today, Joyful Journeyer, and we'll catch you next time. Bye for now.